But listen, hear me out. So Rick Ross went on the podcast. He was on the podcast, Joe and Jada. Now,
I like what you said about the whack rappers that might get out of line and shit. Just imagine if I had the chance to slap 50 Cent with this shit right here.
come on, man.
Yo,
Family show, bro.
No, I'm just saying. Just imagine that. That's a blessing.
I ran out of flag.
We just talked about. No. You just mentioned it.
No, I'm not talking about him.
No, you was.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah. I caught that.
No,
the whack rappers running around.
Sorry for
and then you get the
I had nothing
with the $1 million backhand. You feel me?
No, I didn't say that.
You was talking about 50 Cent, the whack
man.
nigga that
I'm not even thinking
down.
about him. I was talking about the time when.
No, I caught that. I caught that alley hoop.
Yo, Ross, stop.
I'm a Wimbayaya nigga.
Yeah, Wimbayaya.
I'm giving Joe Crack what Joe Crack asked for. The whack rappers, the nigga 50 Cent.
I never.
You threw me the alley hoop on 50, nigga. Come get it, 50.
For Rick Ross, there's certain artists that would say things about 50 Cent and that would generate their energy.
50 Cent had some huge records when he had the biggest producers and artists around him putting them together. That's why right now he can't make nothing.
Their whole career is based on it. So it's not a surprise that they try to do that to continue the relevance. I'm looking going, good luck, because you're trying to sell a CD at the present moment and I'm not trying to sell music.
Now, if you think that moment stayed inside that studio, think again. Word of what Ross said on that podcast spread fast, and it didn't take long before 50 Cent caught wind of it. Because when you publicly wave a ring around and joke about slapping somebody on camera, that somebody is going to have something to say. And 50 Cent, he never needs a second invitation.
50 sitting down having a conversation, I think the world would watch that.
The first thing I would want to know is what is there to talk about?
Seen Ross take a shot at you a couple weeks ago about a girl that you're not even with no more.
Nothing else works for him outside of mentioning me. When things get bad, you mention me. It gets covered first. You know, you see that big white elephant, that property he lives at? It costs more than the nightclub. He's in the nightclub. We know what they can get. They can't pay you more than they can pay you because the room can't hold.
Ross didn't sit quiet after those shots landed. According to reports, the comments circulated heavily across social media almost immediately, and Ross made sure to fire back in public, keeping this very much alive in the streets of the internet. What started as a joke on a podcast between Rick Ross, Fat Joe, and Jadakiss had now officially turned into the next chapter of one of hip-hop's most relentless rivalries, and both men seemed more than ready to play.
Hey, Curtis Jackson, you more than welcome to bring that Versace Lamborghini to the car show, and your little homies. I know them niggas with them niggas, Auntie Murder. Yeah, I know you got a Toyota Tundra. I know it. I can see it in your face.
Would it ever happen with you and 50 sitting down having a conversation? I think the world would watch that.
The first thing I would want to know is what is there to talk about?
This is a big business you guys are a part of. You guys are two of the heavyweights in the business.
I mean, what is there to talk about?
A lot of things to talk about. History,
The beef? What kind of history? That he couldn't dress? That's all I used to tell him. Yo, you can't dress. You're not really getting no money. You don't own your masters. Eminem saved you. Dr. Dre saved you. All the big names. Rose did it himself. I came in through slip and slide. I had to build this myself. And I'm not speaking down on him because he lives in a 2-bedroom apartment, but
he lives in a 2-bedroom apartment.
2-bedroom. That's the alley hoop now. Gotta win by Yama, this bitch.
2-bedroom apartment.
But here's where it gets interesting. Once fans actually started looking past the back and forth energy and digging into the specifics of what 50 was saying, some of them realized there might be more substance to those claims than people initially gave him credit for.
A place where you have to be ready. Don't get ready, you gotta be ready, alright?
Is there anything about Ross and his career that you have any respect for?
Oh, no, there's nothing there. I never wanted to work with him. Look, I actually don't want a problem.
No, I don't think you
I don't ever want a problem. But when they say they want a problem, I say no.
Around this same period, 50 Cent was making his rounds on major platforms, and one of his most pointed appearances came on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast. That's where he reportedly made the case that the jaw-dropping lifestyle Rick Ross puts on display, the cars, the estate, the private jet, functions more like a performance than a reflection of actual liquid wealth. And his main exhibit? That 300-plus acre Georgia property that Ross famously calls the Promised Land? According to 50, Maintaining something on that scale costs serious money, the kind of money that doesn't show up in highlight reels. Whether it was strategic timing or genuine observation, the comments hit differently because Ross had just been out here flexing harder than ever.
Why you out there cutting your own grass?
When you're talking about an estate the size of a small town, 300 plus acres, a 54,000 square foot structure, private lakes, a 350,000 gallon pool, and a dining hall big enough to seat 100, you're not just talking about a house. You're talking about something that costs a fortune to maintain every single year, regardless of what you paid for it up front. Experts who've analyzed the property suggest annual operating costs for a place that size could easily run anywhere from $500,000 to over $1 million when you factor in property taxes, insurance, landscaping, and staffing. So when 50 Cent stood in front of a major audience and pointed at that estate as his evidence, people started running the numbers themselves. And some of those numbers raised eyebrows.
Is Rick Ross getting all of this money?
Oh, the Promised Land?
What's the Promised Land?
300 acres, 60,000 square feet.
The projects. It's bigger than the projects.
Oh, it's...
3 projects. And a couple of football fields. That's a town. It's a town. Yeah, I'm just thinking about it. I'm sorry, it's a hood association, but that's how I'm thinking about it.
It's beyond motivating.
Right.
It's beyond motivating.
Oh, man. Do we make some noise for that? Yeah. Do we make some noise for that?
Ross wasn't about to let those shots sit unanswered. Almost immediately after the clip started making the rounds, he hopped on his Instagram story and started listing out his assets: the Georgia property, the private jet complete with a $500,000 Starlink Wi-Fi upgrade, real estate holdings. He was essentially reading his own resume to the internet. And that response? It moved fast.
But listen, hear me out. So Rick Ross went on the podcast. He was on the podcast, Joe and Jada. Now, during this podcast, Fat Joe got to talking about something. Well, Fat Joe ended up saying, like, yeah, like a lot of these older rappers that's washed up and ain't got no motion. Rick Ross busts out and say, yeah, like 50 Cent. And I guess Rick Ross had on this long ring on his finger, and I guess it's supposed to be worth $1 million. Now, he in the podcast, but Fat Joe tell him, like, nah, that ain't who I'm talking about. We ain't about to do that. He already know Jada Kids. He over there just laughing. Then, next thing you know, Rick Ross like, yeah, I could just take this. Can you imagine me smacking him with $1 million ring? And then, Fat Joe tell him again, bro, you doing too much. You reaching. That's not what I'm talking about. You creating some shit that's not here. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about 50 Cent. Next thing you know, he get to saying, yeah, what's the black motherfucker with the two-tone, his forehead a different color? Talking about Uncle Murder. But then when 50 Cent reply, y'all gonna say 50 Cent bullying. Y'all drop a comment, let me know what y'all thinking.
The internet locked in almost instantly. Uncle Murda jumped into the comment section with his reactions, and Nate Dogg's son, Inhale, who goes by Inhale, was also seen laughing along on the post. Meanwhile, 50 had already dropped a now-deleted Instagram post that read, quote, he notices a surprise guest. He can't sell a ticket. LOL. Simple, surgical. That line alone set off another wave of debate that drowned out everything else. What began as a podcast moment had now fully transformed into a public dissection of Rick Ross's entire boss image, the thing he spent nearly 2 decades building. And the audience, they were completely locked in.
The state, am I still looking for property investment, so on and so forth? Of course, brother. We ain't gonna never stop doing that. I've won on every piece of real estate I have, even though I didn't get into it to flip it, and I just got them and copped them. I still got them. I bought a crib that the homie Amari Stoudemire sold. I still haven't slept in that bitch once. But guess what? The value is, I could sell that same house for possibly maybe $3 million more than I purchased it for. And when I walked in there, I told the lady, this is my house.
What made 50 shots land extra hard this particular time was the timing behind them. Leading up to this, Ross had already gone on record calling 50 out for reportedly siding with Drake during the massive rap conflict that consumed 2024, the highly publicized war of words between Drake and Kendrick Lamar that had the entire hip-hop world choosing sides. Ross felt that 50 had showed his hand by leaning toward Drake, and he made that frustration very public, which meant that when 50 turned around and started attacking Ross's finances, it wasn't just rap beef anymore, it was personal on multiple levels at once.
I obviously didn't get the memo. It's being updated with Starlink. What Starlink is? Yeah, that's the $500,000 Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's what my jet...
That added layer of tension made the whole situation even messier. By the time 50 started putting financial pressure on Ross publicly, Rose had already been dealing with months of criticism from multiple directions. The Drake fallout, the rap world debates, and now somebody attacking the one thing his entire brand is built on: money and power. Because here's the thing about Rick Ross. Specifically, his whole identity in this culture is tied to the image of being a boss. The cars, the mansion, the label, the businesses. So the moment you put a question mark on any of that, you're not just clowning him as a rapper. You're questioning the foundation of everything he's presented to the public for the past 15 plus years. Fans caught on to exactly that, and the conversation spread to every corner of social media like wildfire.
I saw you was on IG, you was playing it.
I'm kissing the girl. You gotta back that up, that shit hard right there. Hey, that was that nigga best verse. I mentioned his mom, she was one of those. So I said it in front of the song, but the song was produced by Cool and Drake.
Legendary.
My homie.
Legendary.
So the song was a dope song. You know what I'm saying?
I can tell you. Yeah.
But I'm a homie. He ain't getting no money. Keep laughing, because it's funny. When he come here, if he ever come here and say, how you feel, Rose getting all that money, nigga? Do him like that.
Forever. I don't think that's turning on.
No.
I would love for y'all to get, you know what I'm saying?
Don't do that. You know dog ain't getting no money.
That
You been giving me alley-oops all day.
That was a oop.
I got you. I caught your 50 cent alley-oop on this people. I got you on that. I stumped that.
Rather than get purely defensive about it, Ross switched the angle entirely. He reportedly went on the offensive, posting what many described as a pitch to 50 Cent, essentially telling him, "Come sit at my table, bring your ideas, I'll consider it, I can change your life." The post even referenced his business deal with Rap Snacks and reportedly joked that he could put 50's face on a bag of potato chips. Now that was a bold play, because what Ross was doing was positioning himself as the man operating on a level so far above the conflict that he could allegedly offer opportunities to the same person trying to tear him down. It was designed to come across like the boss move, but critics immediately clapped back by pointing directly at 50's original accusations, and the back and forth online just kept escalating with no clear winner.
Homie, listen to me, my nigga. Shine. I don't wanna see you lose. No real nigga wanna see you lose. That ain't what nigga about. This culture, this game, this rap shit, this ain't what it's about. I don't wanna see you lose. When I was the number one nigga in the rap game, I showed nigga.
But the debate didn't stay at the level of Instagram flexes and deleted posts. People started going deeper, pulling public records, court filings, and financial documents. And what they found added serious fuel to the conversation. According to public records reported by multiple outlets, including Vibe and All Hip Hop, the Georgia Department of Revenue filed for tax execution against Ross in late 2024, tied to his Promised Land estate in Fayetteville. The original balance dated back to a 2021 tax bill of approximately $29,043, but by the time the state officially moved on it, that figure had reportedly ballooned to around $64,995. The growth came from a combination of over $10,500 in interest charges, nearly $19,500 in penalties, and additional collection fees. The state's legal filing described the situation as involving, quote, delinquent tax liabilities. This also reportedly wasn't the first time Ross had faced tax issues. Back in 2018. He had reportedly settled a much larger IRS debt of over $4.6 million to avoid asset seizure. Now, let's be clear about something in the overall landscape of celebrity wealth. A $65,000 tax dispute isn't necessarily a financial crisis, but that's not really what people were reacting to. The real issue was what it represented visually. When your personal brand is built entirely around being untouchable, when your music talks about wealth, your social media is all mansion tours and private jets, and your nickname is literally the boss, any public record involving unpaid taxes is going to hit different. Critics immediately connected these filings to everything 50 had been saying, and the conversation didn't stop there. Separate public filings tied to Ross's waterfront mansion at 37 Star Island Drive in Miami Beach were also drawing attention. According to reporting from The Real Deal, county records showed that Ross had secured approximately $10.7 million in additional financing against that property, bringing his total balloon mortgage balance on the Star Island estate to roughly $35 million. The lender, a Brickell-based company called Vaster, had reportedly previously issued a $20 million loan in 2023 and another $4.3 million in 2024, with both arrangements reportedly structured around a 50% loan-to-value ratio. When you put all those numbers side by side, the online debate hit another gear entirely. On one side, Ross's supporters made the argument that sophisticated investors and business owners use financing all the time, that leveraging real estate is a standard wealth-building strategy, not a sign of struggle. That's a legitimate point. On the other side, critics pointed to the timing and the totality of the picture: the tax execution in Georgia, the heavy mortgage in Miami, and a public image that presents nothing but abundance, and said the math wasn't adding up the way it was being presented, and the situation kept getting more layered. In late 2023, Ross had purchased that very Star Island mansion for $35 million in one of South Florida's most talked about real estate closings that year. His neighbor at the time of purchase, Sean Diddy Combs, who reportedly gifted Ross a golf cart as a welcome. Then, months later, when Cardi B posted on X that she was looking to sell her Atlanta estate, simply captioning it, "My casa. I don't want it no more though," Ross jumped into her Instagram comments asking price? That single question set off another round of debates about whether someone navigating the financial picture being described in public filings should be looking to add yet another major property to the portfolio. Here's the part that people sometimes forget. In the middle of all this back and forth, none of this is new. 50 Cent has been running this exact same playbook against Rick Ross for over 15 years. Their beef is one of the longest-running rivalries in modern hip-hop history, and the origin story, depending on who you ask, traces all the way back to the 2008 Bet Hip Hop Awards. According to widely reported accounts, the tension reportedly started after some kind of encounter at that event, though different people have told different versions of exactly what went down. What's clear is that when Ross dropped Mafia music in early 2009 with lines that many interpreted as shots at 50, Fifth came back swinging almost immediately, releasing Officer Ricky, Go Ahead, and Try Me in rapid succession. Those tracks didn't just start a rap beef, they launched a campaign. And 50 has never really put that campaign down. And the most devastating weapon in that campaign has always been the Officer Ricky angle, because it doesn't just attack Ross's rap skills or his music, it attacks the very story he built his career on. Back in July 2008, investigative site The Smoking Gun published documents and a personnel record confirming that William Leonard Roberts II, the man the world knew as Rick Ross, had worked as a correctional officer at the South Florida Reception Center in Doral, Florida, for 18 months between December 1995 and June 1997. The documents reportedly matched his social security number. A photograph also surfaced of Ross in the uniform. Initially, Ross denied it at one point, claiming that online hackers had placed his face on someone else's body. But eventually, with the evidence overwhelming, he confirmed the employment. Now understand what made this so significant. Ross had built an entire rap persona around being a product of the street drug trade, referencing the real-life story of Freeway Rick Ross, one of the biggest drug traffickers in Los Angeles history. Having that persona collide publicly with a government employment record was seismic in hip-hop. 50 Cent seized on it immediately and has never let it go. The feud expanded well beyond music into deeply personal territory. At one point, 50 infamously released an intimate video involving Lastonia Leviston, the mother of one of Ross's children, reportedly adding his own commentary over the footage online. Leviston eventually took legal action, and the case ended with 50 being ordered to pay a reported $5 million judgment, a verdict that contributed to him filing for bankruptcy in 2015. The beef even spilled into physical confrontations. At the 2012 Bet Hip Hop Awards, footage circulated of members of 50 Cent's G-Unit crew allegedly attacking Gunplay, an artist from Ross's Maybach music group. During that incident, Gunplay's Maybach music diamond chain was reportedly stolen. Through every chapter of this rivalry, the central question 50 keeps asking has never changed. Does the image match the reality? That's the thread running through Officer Ricky, through the financial document leaks, through every Instagram troll post. It's not always about who has more money or who has more hits, it's about authenticity. Who are you really versus who you claim to be? That's the needle 50 knows how to push. The rivalry has even produced its own legal paper trail beyond the Leviston case. In 2015, Billboard reported that 50 Cent filed a $2 million lawsuit against Ross, claiming Ross had used the beat from 50's hit In the Club on a mixtape without proper authorization. The case was eventually dismissed on appeal with courts ruling in Ross's favor, but the fact that these two had lawyers involved multiple times tells you everything about how deep this thing runs. By 2025, the rivalry found itself a fresh set of ammunition, and this time it was about live performance value and ticket selling power. The 2025 Millennium Tour launched on March 7th, with Amarian, Bow Wow, and Trey Songz as co-headliners, plus the supporting lineup that included Boosie Badazz, Plies, and the Yin Yang Twins. Rick Ross was listed on the official flyer not as a headliner, but as a special guest. That billing at the bottom of the poster was all 50 Cent needed. He went straight to Instagram and posted the tour flyer with the caption, "Nas get quiet when they gotta open for Bow Wow. He not a surprise guest. He can't sell a ticket." Low. He even added that Bow Wow didn't ask for this and that Live Nation had just threw that BH on the bill. The post spread fast. Uncle Murda and Nate Dogg's son and Hale were seen in the comments laughing it up. Ross responded with his own Instagram rant calling out Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda by name, questioning 50's ability to finish his G-Unit film and television studios project in Shreveport, Louisiana, and even threatening to buy 50's masters. He also told 50 flat out that he doesn't own Get Rich or Die Trying or the Power TV franchise. 50 then pivoted and pointed at something else. The fact that at the tour's opening stop in Louisville, Ross performed the 2011 track I'm on One, a song that features Drake heavily. Despite Ross and Drake being publicly at war since 2024, footage from that Louisville show reportedly showed the crowd going wild for Drake's verse, almost as if the fallout hadn't happened at all. 50 used that footage to argue that Ross needs Drake's star power to carry his own performances. That's what makes this feud unlike anything else in hip-hop right now. Most beefs burn out after a few diss tracks get dropped. Maybe somebody wins in the court of public opinion, things cool down, and everybody moves on. But Ross and 50 Cent? These two have been going at it since 2008 with absolutely no signs of fatigue on either side. The reason this rivalry still captures people's attention every single time is because both men built their public identities around very specific things, and they keep attacking each other's foundations. For Ross, everything is tied to being the biggest boss in the room. Wealth, power, ownership, real estate, business moves, that's the whole character. When somebody like 50 consistently shows up and says, "Prove it," it creates a tension that doesn't go away with one Instagram story or one business announcement. Now, let's be fair about the full picture here. Public financial filings raise questions, but they don't automatically paint a complete portrait. Various outlets and analysts have estimated Ross's net worth at somewhere around $150 million, built over nearly 2 decades of music, business ventures, and real estate moves. He purchased the Promised Land, that massive Georgia estate formerly owned by boxing legend Vander Holyfield, for reportedly just $5.8 to $5.9 million back in 2014. A property that had originally cost Holyfield around $30 million to build before he lost it to foreclosure. That's a smart acquisition by any measure. Ross currently owns roughly 25 Wingstop franchise locations, holds equity stakes in spirits, brands, runs Maybach Music Group, owns a 2012 Gulfstream G550 private jet reportedly acquired for approximately $19.5 million, and has built a real estate portfolio spanning multiple states. His debut album Port of Miami hit No. 1 on the Billboard 200 Inches 2006. So did his follow-up Trilla in 2008. 2 straight No. 1 album debuts. That's not something you fake your way into. So where does that leave us? Both sides have ammunition. Both sides have an audience that's not going anywhere. 50 Cent has proven over and over again that he doesn't need a new reason to apply pressure. He'll find one every single time the calendar gives him an opening. And Rick Ross has proven that no matter how loud the noise gets, he's not the type to walk quietly off the stage. Whether you think 50 exposed something real or whether you believe Ross is exactly who he says he is, the one thing nobody can argue about is this: the conversation is still happening. The internet is still watching, and neither of these men seems even slightly interested in calling it quits. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Did 50 Cent actually touch on something real with his financial claims, or is this just two heavyweight egos doing what they've always done? Because either way, hip-hop has never had a rivalry quite like this one. Like the video, hit subscribe, and don't sleep on what's coming next.